Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of your most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown.
Whoa, looky here. What is this? What? We're back? Another week?
Another
Still
week.
going strong? What? Hey, what's up? Look who it is. Lord Triage. What's good, man?
What it do? What it do?
I feel like I haven't seen you in like a week.
Close to it. Close to it.
Yeah, man. Last time I saw you, we was talking about the Summers family last time. Last time yeah.
Correct.
Well, damn. Look at us doing some big shit as per usual, as normal. Like, damn. I'm trying to go through and there it is. I'll just copy this. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, no, I'm just chilling. How you been? How you been, brother?
Living my best life.
Yup, same here. Living it up, doing my thing, pushing through. Man, for those you don't know, this is the Super Breakdown. This is where we take your favorite comic book characters, pop culture characters. We dive into everything: movies, TV shows. Oh man, we are everywhere. We go into everything. If you're just tuning in, last month was our Mutant March. We was doing our thing, talking about different mutants within, the mutant verse or universe, whatever you want to call it. This month is Avatar April. Welcome to Avatar April, everyone. Avatar April. We're gonna be talking about all month. We're gonna be breaking down different bending styles and different characters who are part of that respected style of bending. So it's gonna be great. This episode we're starting off with one I'd say one of the most deadliest bending styles, even though it's at its base form, it's kind of like I'd say like one of the weakest base form. What would you say about this bending style? Would you agree with me?
Well, my thing with the air element, which is the element we're breaking down today, is that it's the element of freedom. And to me, there's nothing more dangerous and more powerful than true freedom.
Very, very true. Yeah, so as you said, we are breaking down airbending. We're going to be going over some of the most prolific airbenders within Avatar and Korra. And that goes out throughout the month. Every bending form, we're going to be going across both Avatar and Korra, so that way we can get a good comparison between the two. So today, of course, we're going to be talking about Aang, of course, Gatta, his son Tenzin, and the villainous Zahir, who is one of the strongest airbenders that we've seen within that the Avatar universe.
Yes, he's actually my favorite character. So I'm anxiously waiting.
All right, so let's start off with talking about the bending style in a whole. Airbending. So it's said that airbending was taught to the air nomads by the flying bison.
Which I would have loved to have seen that conversation happen, but
Right. Now, now if we go back, if we take a look at Legend of Korra and the episode after her cousins pretty much kill her, she's in like this meditative state or whatever, and she ends up seeing like the first Avatar 1, and it goes through a whole storyline of where the bending came from. So I believe like each element had its own kind of world turtle in a way that granted so, people who are worthy their bending style.
yes, the lion turtles.
Lion turtles, yes. So and the only way in order to double up, triple up, quadruple up on the bending styles was if you were possessed by the spirit Rava, right? And Batu was the negative spirit. But now I don't know. I see airbending because clearly the bending styles are also based off martial arts styles. I've always seen airbending being based off of like the fighting style, kind of like Shaolin, like a Shaolin monk fighting style.
It's based off of a style called Bagua, which roughly translates to circle walking, if memory serves me correctly. So it's almost like a constant form of Wing Chun if you were constantly moving in a circle.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've always seen air being based off of like a Shaolin style of kung fu, Bagua, which I would definitely say, yeah, definitely fits that description. And then of course I've always seen the air nomads more so as those Shaolin monks or those Tibetan monks. They're very passive, non-violent unless you they gotta do their thing. And now we're talking about Avatar air nomads, like the original kind of air nomads, not the air nomads from Legend of Korra, which was down with the shits. If I do say so myself, they were pretty kick ass.
Well, I think it's one of those things that they had to learn from past mistakes because I'm someone who's very big into West Coast rap, and when everything was going on and like with the riots in Baltimore and stuff like that, Exhibit put up this post where he was like, only the most truly violent people can call themselves peaceful, because, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not exact quoting, because you have to be capable of extreme violence in order to call yourself peaceful, because if you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're someone who's harmless.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I follow, it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a guardian in
a war zone.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I agree. And I think it's one of those things because of what happened, because the Fire Nation basically tried to more or less wipe them out in damn near like 24 hours. And it's one, not necessarily because they weren't masters at their art, is the fact that they didn't think of themselves as warriors.
Well, I also believe that they a part of the reason why they wiped them out is they wiped them out first is because the legend was that the next Avatar, the one that can pretty much stop them all, would be born from the air nomads. So that's why they kind of like, face off with them first.
Oh no. That was exactly why they did it. But my whole thing was
these guys is the Avatar. Only the strongest person here. Yeah.
No, that was exactly why they did it. But my whole thing was like, if they had been a little bit more.
Why they were wiped out. Okay, I see. We got a delay between the two.
A delay between what?
You and me. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Jeez. What's going on here? All right, here we go. All right. So yeah, so I saw it as they also like the most peaceful ones, that they felt like the Fire Nation felt like they would get the least resistance out of them. They knew full well attacking Boston State was about to be some bullshit. So there was like, all right, let's fuck with the air nomads first, and say it'll be easier to wipe them out than if we were to try to go after the water tribe. We'll hit the water tribe next, then work on Boston State, try to build our forces as we go along.
So yeah, man, I just think it's one of those things like the air nomads were not with the shits, and this is because they weren't with the shits. You bit them in their ass. But it's also one of those things like where the bending style is not just a style of bending; it's a whole type of culture. Like they say, air is the element of freedom, so it's like they're supposed to untether themselves from all worldly attachments and things that could bind them down or weigh them down. That's why they said the great Guru Lahima was able to untether himself from the earth and live his final 40 years without ever touching the ground. Now, the only other airbender to do that is here, which I'm a little curious about, because if you watch the live action, you kind of do see, I don't want to say that they're flying, but they're definitely not living close to the ground with some of this airbending that the airbenders were doing before they got wiped out. Even Aang, like, he's still doing some shit where I was like, I don't remember him doing that in the animated series, but I'll let it slide.
Now, for me, granted, and I really feel like the strongest of the airbenders, before the Fire Nation attack was most definitely Monkey Atsu. And as we see, they walk in the room and there's Fire Nation bodies everywhere. Just this. It was like, that'd be like 50 Fire Nation soldiers' bodies in that one room.
He just looked at him like, smoke?
Like, and I'll be honest, like, for Monkey Atsu to wipe all them out, I feel like he had to pull a Zahir move. I think he sucked the air out the room.
Listen, man, I wouldn't be against that, but it's one of them things like where, I mean, and here's the thing too, it's like, because, and this is one of the things we were talking about also, because like if you start breaking some of this down, it always goes back to not necessarily what your power is, but what your understanding of the power is. For example, if they can manipulate the air or bend the air, and fire needs air to ignite, like if an air nomad, for example, for whatever reason, could be extremely good at holding their breath, or maybe even learn to slow their breathing or stop it completely, and then sucks the oxygen out the room.
Yeah.
So,
and now when Katara and Sokka make the realization of, oh, they didn't kill him, he killed them, and they express that to Aang, he's like, no, Monkey out, he wouldn't kill somebody. What? He wouldn't kill. And then he starts looking around and he's like, oh shit, he killed them. He killed them all. He killed every last one of them. And I could definitely see that being kind of like, clearly, that's probably taboo within their culture. So that's why it was such a shock to him, because to them, life is precious. Now, I can definitely see that situation being all right. My back's against the wall. This is last ditch effort. I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do. Meditative state. Deep breath. Sucks all the air out the room. Sucks the air out of their body. Murks them all. One foul.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can definitely see it going off that way, and that's the only way I could really see it going off. You know, for somebody who's so, you know, because from the little bit that we do get to see of Monkey Yatsu, like that's definitely his personality. Like, no, you know, we don't kill. We're here. So I've also always related the air nomads to the Jedi, and not on the Jedi Knight aspect of it, but further, way back, millennia ago, from what we end up seeing in the movies. Like the first Force users on that planet, they were non-violent. Their whole goal was to learn the Force and grow within the Force and be one with the Force. And that's kind of how I see the Airbenders as well. On that aspect, their only goal is to learn about, you know, airbending, to become one and enlightenment and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, back to what you just said. It's not about how much power you have. It's about your understanding of that power and what you can do with that power. You know, I want to thank you for letting me read fucking Path of Destruction. Ooh, crazy. And again, and it builds right into that. All right, you're immensely powerful. What are you going to do with that? What can you do with that? How are you going to manipulate this power into your own abilities? So that's kind of like where I see that's kind of the position I see the air nomads as within the Avatar world. Now let's get into Aang himself. He's like what? He's like, how long he was in the ice always escapes me. It was like what, 1,000 years?
100.
100 years. All right, so he is technically 110 years old. When we first introduced him, when they first released him from the ice. Now I haven't finished watching the live action. Okay, that's a lie. I haven't even started it yet.
Dude,
there's a lot behind it. I know. I gotta get on it. There's a lot that goes into that. But now just off the show, you know, we see this. I feel like this is like a very true to the hero story. You know, he gets brought into this conflict that he wants no part of, wants nothing to do with this whatsoever. Which is honestly the reason why he left the Air Temple in the first place. Now, over the course of this, we end up seeing, we see this child. He's naive. He doesn't want to accept what he wants to do. He just wants to be free and live a life of a child, and indulge in these worldly, worldly materialistic things. Which is unfortunately what I hear is a part that they kind of like cut out of the live action. But I feel like that was such a strong part of the show, really, was his apprehension and his hesitation to really step into this role of the Avatar.
Well,
go ahead.
My thing with that is that is true, and that did bother some people. But my whole thing was, let's not forget, this was a cartoon on Nickelodeon, so it's like they had to make it resonate with children. So him being, the fun-loving, happy-go-lucky kid who just wants to live his best life and have fun and enjoy himself. Yeah, that's what every kid wants. Like,
but
what?
The thing is, it didn't stay that way.
But my whole thing was it didn't get there fast enough to begin with. Like him talking about penguin sledding and all this other extra shit. Like, nah, my nigga, you put everything in the worst possible situation because you were being irresponsible. And the whole thing was like, if you watch the animated series, he ran away, opposed to the live action where it's like, nah, I gotta go outside to think. He never had the intention of running away in the live action. He went to gather himself and got caught in the storm. And then when he woke up, it was 100 years later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a very stark difference. That's a big stark difference. I feel like maybe people wouldn't have complained more or complained as much if the show was more, the live action was at least a little more, at least instead of having him like that situation of him just going out to breathe, if they would have actually had it like, wow, this is too much for me, I gotta dip. And then when he comes to realize, oh shit, I fucked up. Let me crack down. Let me get on my bullshit. And did it that way, and instead of having it straight off the rip from the beginning, he's like, oh, I gotta, all right, cool, I gotta figure this out. Because I don't know, I just feel like his apprehension and his hesitation also came, that we see in the long run, leading up until that one episode where he's like, holy shit, I really got to do this. I really feel like that comes from also, waking up 100 years later and him realizing, oh shit, I fucked up. And he didn't want to own, it seems like he didn't want to own up to the fact of, my irresponsibility fucked the entire world. As well as, this fact of, you know what, I do want to live that life, that I really wanted. Let me at least try to squeeze a little bit more time out of this before I really gotta, how far can I stretch it before I really gotta crack down? That's really what I saw it as, a mix of I fucked up, I don't really want to own up to it. Again, he's a kid, he made a mistake. Kids often don't want to own up to their mistakes. But especially a mistake as big as that. Yeah. You know what? Let me stop calling it a mistake, because at least in the animated series, it wasn't a mistake. He chose to leave. So I'm not going to call it a mistake. He made the choice to leave. He didn't mistakenly make the choice. He just, in live action, I would call it more of a mistake. He was out there, blah, blah, blah. He made a mistake of not heading back when the storm came through. What I mean? Judging the storm is a mistake. Choosing to just run away from responsibilities is a choice. He made a bad choice. He didn't want to own up to it. He wanted to try to squeeze the last bit of childness that he could out of it. I don't know. How do you would you agree with that? The fact of not wanting to own up to it.
Well, I think of because you know me, I'm A1 Turtles fan, so I think of him like the Michelangelo of the group.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's like how everyone always said Michelangelo had this phenomenal potential, but he was too scatterbrained. He couldn't focus. He wanted to skateboard. He wanted to play video games. He wanted to eat pizza. But it's like if you read The Last Ronin or certain stories where you actually get to see him buckle the fuck down and cut loose, Michelangelo is a whole savage.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that they had to show that progression over time. I just think the live action did that right by toning that down, because in the real world, that 10-year-old would have been murdered.
Yeah. Yeah.
That 10, 12-year-old would have died. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that. And here's another thing too, and because you've seen Black Panther just like I have.
Yeah.
I will never, do you hear me? Never, ever try to fight someone to a standstill who has every intention of killing me.
Oh yeah, no. This is a life or death situation. It's either you or me.
And once again, I get the whole thing with them going, we want to teach kids to do shit another way. It doesn't always have to end in a murder or taking someone's life. But in hindsight, sometimes that's not realistic. On the battlefield, you either get killed or do the killing.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think that him with pretty much the Katara and Sokka, their role was pretty much to show him like, yo, listen, shit's serious, bro. You need to get serious. You can die out here. Niggas die out here, and this is your fault that niggas is dying out here. You need to get it together, crack down on learning these bending styles and get on your avatar shit, because you're fucking up right now. And I'll be damned if I'm rolling with you and your unwillingness to do what needs to be done gets me or my brother killed. I could definitely, so I definitely see that. Yeah, so I see what you're saying, where the show took a little longer than it needed to for him to crack down, because what Sozin's the whole Sozin's comment. Oh, no, Day of Black Sun. That's the original. That's the first plan that they had, to catch him on the Day of the Black Sun.
Correct.
Yeah. So. But yeah, that leading up to and that was like what, book 2 in the animated series.
Oh, Black Sun, yes, that was the end of book 2.
Yeah. So it took them what, a whole 2 seasons for him to crack down, because it was like the episode where he's losing sleep, he's having these wild ass dreams and shit like that. That was, I'd say, about like what, 3-4 episodes before the finale. So
yeah, I'd say about that.
So yeah, it took them damn near 2 whole seasons before he even got to cracking down, because by that time he only knew airbending, waterbending, and earthbending. And I think he had played around with fire, but I'm trying to remember if that was in the first 2 seasons where he meets his first firebender teacher, is burning Katara, and then he swears off bending. Yeah.
But see, once again, that's that irresponsibility coming into play. That fun-loving, happy-go-lucky kid who doesn't understand the responsibility of what it is. Shit, that's one of the earliest lessons you get taught, is the stove is hot.
Damn. Wow.
I mean, that's a perfect example right there.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, that's that childhood naivety of not respecting the power that you have. And that was the whole thing. He didn't respect the power of fire, of firebending. The power of firebending, like, yeah, it makes you strong, makes you powerful, but you can hurt people when you use it irresponsibly. And he had to learn that shit the hard way by hurting the one person he loved. But then the second half of the irresponsibility of swearing it off and all together, when, nah, bro, that's something you need. And honestly, he could have been, and honestly, that's a part of what dragged this out so far.
But here's the wild part, and this is another thing too, like, and once again, I don't want to get off subject because we said we're sticking with airbending today, but if you go into the lore, and this has been a recurring thing, a lot of the avatars usually spend their time fixing the past avatars' mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, Aang got told full well by Roku, like, yo, this wasn't your fault, it was mine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he knew full well what Sozin was up to and what Sozin was doing. He thought, like, oh, he humbled him, made him sit down, that was the end of it. Nah, that was not the case. That nigga bided his time, and then when shit really hit the fan,
Nigga left him to die on top of the fucking volcano.
right?
So yeah, that's something I definitely did forget. I forgot that episode. That was one of the first times he ended up he communicated with Roku. That was like one of the first things he told him. Now with Aang's story, what I was saying before, I feel like his that moment when he swore off firebending is what dragged the story out longer. Because if you would have just stuck with it, it's like, my bad, sorry, let's just heal you up, and then get back to it, he would have mastered all four elements early on. So the shit would have been ended by he would have, by the day of Black Sun, he would have been at full power and able to go toe to toe with Ozai if he had cracked down after that. But
Once again, hot take. He shouldn't have won that fight. I don't care what no one says. I get that he won the fight, but in my opinion, he shouldn't have won the fight. And the reason why I say he shouldn't have won the fight is because he mastered all three elements within the span of a year, because he was already a master airbender, because Aang already has arrows. Because that is the sign of a true master. We learned that in Legend of Korra, is that you're marked with your arrows. So he was one of the youngest people to receive them in his temple. So he had already mastered air. So everything with air that he could have done within the scope of that period of time, he learned to do. And we learned that one of the reasons why the air nomads had not been able to master the ability of flight is because they became tethered to the earth with worldly desire. So, like I said, if anything, his need to be a kid weighed him down more than anything. You know what I'm saying to you? So, on top of that, it's also repeatedly stated that whatever element the Avatar is born into, learning the opposite is extremely hard for them.
Yeah, so honestly, he should have had a harder time learning. Well, even then, yeah. He had the hardest time learning. What would be the opposite of air?
Earth.
And it didn't really seem like he had a hard time learning earthbending.
And not only did he learn earth bending, but he also learned seismic sensing, because Toph was his teacher. Toph was blind.
Yeah. All right. So I get. So that part makes sense. So that may have contributed to him not really struggling too bad because of his master. Because I feel like that seismic sensing really makes you like really, really in tune with the earth itself. So I feel like maybe the seismic sensing made it easier for him to master, which is what I feel like is also part of what made Toph such a fucking badass earthbender. Because not only is she able to use the seismic sensing, not only is she able to anticipate her opponent's moves, but she's also able to sense the earth a lot stronger, deeper than any other earthbender. Because she's just using. Most earthbenders are just using the earthbending to sense the earth, while she's using two senses, using her physical senses because of her being blind, and her sense of touch is so heightened, on top of her earthbending abilities. So it's not. So I feel like that. I feel like that may have made it easier for him. But I think what they were going for more so with him is not necessarily the opposite ability, the opposite of his bending being the hardest one to learn, but the opposite of his personality being the hardest one to learn for him, which was fire. because he cared so much about life, cared so much about everyone else around him. Fire, it makes sense that fire would be the hardest one to learn, especially because of his built up animosity towards the Fire Nation for what they had done.
But once
and then
again,
also seeing the situation with Kara. But
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But no, but also once again, like I said, he's already an airbender. So if anything, that's one of the things like where all air is for fire is its fuel. So it's like, if anything, he should be able to combine them two and be like on some straight okey doke type shit. But once again, and here's another thing too, like because Zuko himself was never a master firebender. He was decent, but he was nowhere as near as bad as he was nowhere as near as savage as fucking Iroh or Azula.
Yeah. Or even then, Ozai himself. Well, even then, the question still remains: was Ozai really the most powerful firebender when you got niggas like his brother running around here?
My nigga, he propelled himself like a comet.
And so we've seen other firebenders be able to do that, but this man Iroh literally being able to breathe and exhale fucking fire.
Dragon of the West.
Yes, that's so and I feel like that's being actually really. So Iroh said that all bending is similar. They're
correct.
All connected. You know, although they may be different, they all work together. And as you see, like Zuko ends up taking some of those different actually Iroh tells him, he's like, yeah, I learned all these different styles. Even though I couldn't bend any of them, I still learned them as I was doing my conquering, which is what made him such a beast. As like imagine someone using the earthbending fire style, the earthbending fighting style, but with fire. Makes you even stronger. He learned the disciplines from each one, and that's essentially what the Avatar is to do, but also adding in, the actual being able to bend those elements. He's supposed to learn the aspects of each one of those bending styles in order to combine it together, and that's what makes, that's what made him so fucking powerful. Personally, I still say, this is a hot take, I feel like Korra was how do I say this?
Go ahead, put it out. Go ahead.
I personally like Korra better. One,
okay.
She's black. That's one right after one. She's black.
Oh my god.
No, let me clarify. Actually, let me clarify. One, she's a black woman. She's a black woman. I'll say it that way. She's a black woman. That's number one. And number two, I personally felt like she was more with the shits than Aang was, even at the end.
She was. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that. But that goes back to like the mindsets and the transition of time. Like, people have this whole theory that Princess Yue, the one who Sokka fell in love with, who was part moon spirit. There's a whole theory.
The next Avatar. She was supposed to be
yes.
Avatar.
There's a whole theory that states that, which I'm still confused. But that would have meant that Aang would have had to have lived 100 years. But it's fine.
All right. Here's the thing. Let's break down that theory. So people are saying that she was supposed to be the next Avatar, but with Aang still being alive, Ravo wasn't able to pass on to her, which is why when she was born, they said she was born with no spirit or soul. So they had to call upon the moon spirit, the koi fish, in order to pretty much keep her alive. Whatever. Which, to me, the idea of it does the concept to me does make sense, because it is said every 100 years there's supposed to be a new Avatar, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like every 100
Well, not
years.
not every 100 years, because it depends. Because
Yeah.
if you look at the series, if you look at it shows some of the avatars. Because, for example, Roku lived to be an old man, but the avatar before Roku, Kyoshi didn't. Kyoshi was a young woman when she died. So I just think it depends on their life and what's going on at that point in time.
Because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be whenever like a great evil, it comes about or is about to come about. That's when the new Avatar is born. And I'm pretty sure after Aang died, it was a good while before Katara was born. So it's not like in succession, like when Avatar dies, another one's born. It's not like that. So I feel like it's more along the lines of, when the Avatar dies, as well as when the Avatar is supposed to bring about 100 years of peace, something like that.
But that wouldn't have worked.
100 years is built in there somewhere.
But that wouldn't work specifically for that reason. So it's like, okay, so if the Avatar only arrives in moments of extreme strife between nations or the world or whatever the case may be, that means there's just periods of time when there is no Avatar.
Honestly, I that would make sense. That would make sense to me.
Nah.
More so, I'd accept that because it's like, if there ain't shit popping off, you know what I mean? Why is there a need for an Avatar?
But this is one of the things that they talked about too, and one of the points that they were trying to make is that that's one of the many flaws of the system, is because it's constantly left to it being up to one person to be this conduit of balance for all these different nations. And that's one of the many issues. For example, the Avatar is supposed to travel the world, know all these different things, see all these different things, and be the bridge between these peoples. Now, I don't want to be biased, but when we look at the tribes, now I get that it's all supposed to be based off Asian culture, but I didn't take all of the tribes as being Asian.
Oh no, they definitely weren't. So this is the way I see it: Air Nomads, Chinese; Fire Nation, Japanese. I saw the Earthbenders being more Western, because of their advances within like engineering and shit like that. And then I would see, as we all know, the Water Tribe to be like Native American or some kind of a native people.
Yeah, I took them as being like Native or like Samoan.
Yeah, Samoan or Alaskan or what's it called? What is it? I can't remember.
Like I'm keeping it a stack. I kept waiting to see Roman Reigns pop out of a hut, like acknowledge me. I'm the tribal chief. Like,
no, what? Eskimo, like part of like the Eskimo Nation or stuff like that. I don't shoot me. I don't know if that is PC or not, but we pride ourselves in not being politically correct on this show. So don't shoot me, but we also do just know that we pride ourselves in being, not PC on the show. If you don't like it, try to find somebody else that doing what we're doing. So yeah, I all right. So back to what you were saying. What are you trying to not be biased by? What is it that you're not trying to be biased on? I don't know. What the idea of a bald white man being able to create peace between all the different nations?
Well, I think the issue with that is like you have so many different people from so many different walks of life just in the world. Like when I was a kid, like I saw people who were colored and people who weren't colored. I didn't think nothing of it. Like I didn't know that there was Puerto Rican people and Spanish people and people who were from the islands and everything else. And it's like I just thought there were people of color and people not of color. So it's like the world is a lot more diverse than that. But just to break it down for 4 groups of people, and I don't want to say that the groups are generic by no means, but it's simplified. But if you look at the Water Tribe and what they valued and how they carried themselves, and then look at the Earth Kingdom, it's completely different.
Yes, yeah. But I think what the Avatar's job was to do was within going around learning all these different cultures and stuff like that, he was supposed to bring understanding to the other cultures. So he'll go to the Water Tribe, learn their attributes, then go to the Earth Tribe, like, yo, listen, this is how they do, and be able to explain and help another nation better understand another nation. You know what I mean? I think that's what they were supposed to go through with that. And I feel like Aang didn't do any of that.
Well,
also because of his situation as well. It wasn't a situation where all 4 nations were like in their own pocket. He was able to rally the other nations specifically against one other nation. So he kind of did the opposite. So the other nations started working together. Well, the only 2 other nations, because the air nomads were wiped out. He was the only one left.
I mean, look at it this way, and I'm just going to use this as a reference. Don't cancel me, please. So if Nat Turner had gone around the South, right, liberating, fighting, killing the racist element that was destroying his people, rebelling against the system.
That's a good way to put that.
Right? I mean, technically, if he could have used those type of tactics, but once again, all it would have did was get everyone around him who was following undersuit of said people. They could have been penalized for his actions, and we all know how Nat Turner's story ended. So it's like him using the whole. He could have used, the shock and awe tactics, but once again, Aang's not a soldier. He's not. He's not someone who had military strategy. Matter of fact, the whole scene, if memory serves me correctly, where he's infiltrated the Fire Nation, where he's going to school, and they're talking about the whole thing, how they had to fight the Air Kingdom, the Air Nomad Army, and he's like, but he literally interjects like the Air Nomads didn't have an army. And she's like, "Oh wow, you can't argue and debate the Fire Lord's history. What's the matter with you?" It's like, "Were you there 100 years ago? Did you know what kind of military might the Air Nation had that our people had to overcome?" Once again, history's told by the victor. And like, you want to compare Aang to Korra? Aang and Korra couldn't be any more polar opposites. Like,
big time, big time.
You watch Smallville, right?
Yeah.
So I think of Aang and Korra like Clark and Lex. Like,
okay, break it down.
Like, okay, so Clark Kent had all this power, had all this potential, could have done literally whatever he wanted, and very few people could have stopped him. Very few people. And it's like, the whole point is that he didn't want any of it. He didn't want to be the guy with the super strength who could see through walls and all that extra shit. He just wanted to live a normal life, hang out with his friends, and play football. He wanted the American dream. And it's like how he constantly gets scolded. What'd you say?
I said classic hero story.
Right? But he constantly gets scolded by other people around him. Like when he first meets Bart Allen, when he first meets the Flash, he's like, "You want to be normal, you're not normal."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You treat your abilities like they're a curse." He's like, "You tell me that mine are a gift, and why can't I use them?" He's like, "I haven't hurt anyone. No one suffered from the stuff I've done. It's not that big of a deal." And then you have someone like Lex Luthor, born into privilege, born into wealth, Everyone knew who he was, and then everyone knew who he was. This is the guy who could literally snap his fingers and have 1,000 people hired, or snap his fingers again, have 1,000 people fired.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely see that, because Korra, they knew right off the rip that she was the Avatar, and she was automatically brought into the White Lotus, and automatically started being trained by the White Lotus right off the rip. So she had way more privilege than Aang did.
And then the other thing is that, like, he literally says to him in the last episode when they finally re-meet and they're talking to each other, and he was talking about the whole thing with him embracing his destiny, and he was like, and that always killed you, that I was one step ahead of you. He's like, no, what killed me is the fact that you didn't want it. He's like, you hid from it. He's like, you didn't want it. He's like, I'd have better taken it and reveled in it and embraced it. He's like he had no interest in being the superior man. When Lex Luthor, who by all means is the superior man, because he has money, he has titles, he has an education, he has all the resources that you could ever want to do whatever you need or live however you want in your life, opposed to Clark Kent, who's from a small town, I'd say lower class, damn near poor family, who had to work for every single thing they ever had, who has all the power to make anything he wants come true or do whatever he wants, who chooses not to.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the mindsets of how they were raised and what was going on in their lives.
Okay. No, I definitely agree with you on that. I don't know, and back to what I said earlier, the reason why I like Korra more, that's definitely one of the drawbacks that I feel for her. Like, she didn't really have to, granted, she did have her own set of obstacles that she had to go through, but by the time she had to go through them, she was way older. She knew what the mission was. She understood the mission. She was working towards completing the mission. And then I kind of, it was very different for her, because although she was grinding for the mission, like, it was her drive for the mission that drove her to run away. She ran away not because she didn't want to be the Avatar. She ran away because they were denying her the last ability, the last bending style. They kept telling her that she wasn't ready for it. And that's why she ran away to Republic City.
Correct.
In order to, force Tenzin to teach her. So that was a very big stark difference, as from Aang, who didn't want the responsibility, as to Korra, who was like, her fault was she was too devoted to the mission. And that's where her fault came in. And by her arriving to Republic City, and when she first let it be known who she was, when she joined the bending tournament or whatever, I forgot what was it, the Ultimate Bending League or something like that. And people when she's having that fight, she's in that battle with him, she gets knocked down. Next thing you know, she's earthbending and shit like that. And they're like, whoa, hold on, what the fuck? Hold on. Nah, this is unfair. If you're the Avatar, and once that got found out, that's where all her troubles began. Because I feel like she accelerated that timeline where she would have to, end up coming in conflict with the big bad of that first season, which would be Amon. You said Amon was a waterbender? Right? I can't really. I believe Amon was a bender. Right?
No, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, he was a waterbender. wasn't he?
Who?
Amon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I watched Korra so long ago. Who was he? What was his identity?
So it was supposed to be that he was what was called an equalist, and the whole thing was supposed to be that he wanted to make it so those who are not born with the ability to bend had a way to fight back against what they considered people who are oppressing them. Yes.
Yeah, he wanted to even the playing field, equal out the playing field. But like more so, like what was his identity? And when they did finally take him down and feed him, what was his identity?
Oh, he was basically, I don't want to say the son of a mob boss, but
The son of a
it
mob
was
boss.
basic. Yeah, he was basically the son of a notorious criminal who was revealed to be a bloodbender.
Oh, okay.
So then,
coming back to me.
So then he got revealed as a bloodbender himself, and then he was a prodigy because he's been trained since childhood.
Which is he ended up learning the ability to take people's bending away.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right. So let's take a quick break and hear from some awesome people that are doing some amazing things within the podcast world, as well as comic books. Let's take a look at Midnight Comics and their podcast, the Indie Breakdown. You can find them on Spotify underneath the Midnight Run, as well as Roomful of Blurs, which is I believe she's live right now. Lady Mandalore is live right now, as well as Icarus Podcast. Let's hear what they have to say.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
All right. Now, let's break down. Let's get into Tenzin. His storyline. Let's get into it. Break it down.
So Tenzin is Aang's youngest son, and was supposed to be like the heir to the airbending dynasty. Sorry, I was sorry to say that with a straight face.
Yeah. Now, he was the first airbender to be born since the eradication of the air nomads. He is the youngest of three. It's Bumi. Forget their daughter's name.
Kaya,
yes. So, clearly, Aang and Katara, they get together after the fact. They do the shebang. They end up having 3 kids. Bumi, he's not a bender. He's a non-bender at first. We'll say that he's not a bender at first. Then Kaya, Airbender like her mom. Tenzin, Airbender like his father, heir to the to the Air Nomad legacy. So he sets up shop in Republic City and builds a new air temple in Republic City. But again, only people that are airbenders are him and his kids. Yeah, he has like 4 kids. Well, he has 3 kids and 1 on the way.
Bunch of knuckleheads.
Oh man, his youngest son is a fucking savage. His youngest son is a savage. I love his youngest son. Shit, what's his name?
I can't think of it off the top of my head actually.
Shit. Nah, hold on. Take it away. I'm gonna find this shit.
Okay, so
take it away.
Copy. So Tenzin's whole thing was that he was supposed to be the master airbender to teach Korra the 4th and final element, which she needed to learn. And then, of course, things with Amon start to happen. And then Korra, instead of waiting patiently to be led on her journey of airbending, she decides to take it into her own hands, heads to Republic City, and it just goes downhill from there. Now, the one thing I would like to say about Tenzin is that But
so there's Jinora.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Milo. Milo's the fucking little savage, the youngest one. And then the baby, he ends up naming him Rohan.
Aha. Okay.
So it was Jinora, Iki, Milo, and Rohan. Those are his 4 kids. And it's Jinora who ends up becoming the youngest, because she actually is younger than Aang when he got his arrows. The youngest one to become the airbending master. Because she ends up being able to commune with the spirit realm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Tenzin, he's, I feel like his situation kind of sucked because he was born into a world of peace, but had to always be on mission. You know what I mean?
But that tracks what you said before.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you'd rather be a warrior in a garden.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. You're right. Like from a kid though, from a kid being burdened or at least weighed on as like you were the only other. It's just only me and you, son. We're the only 2 airbenders in the entirety of the world. It's up to you to build and repopulate the air nomads. That's a lot. That's probably why he was popping out kids left and right like that. I'm telling you, bro. I bet you $100 he was in the bedroom like, Daddy said I gotta do it. Daddy said I gotta do it. I believe it. His poor wife. Oh, come on now. Yeah, I'd say his poor wife on that one. Because even she said it was like, yo, listen, being the only non-bender in a family full of airbenders, Lord, let this last child not be a bender. Let this last child not be a bender, please. Let him be normal. I need someone else to talk to about this shit. But yeah, I feel like that's what made Tenzin the kind of person he is. So it's kind of his personality. He's very strict, very to the point, he's a complete stark opposite of his father. While we just talked about with Aang being so fun-loving and this, that, blah blah blah, it's even said that even as an adult he was still like childish in many ways. But Tenzin's complete opposite. He's straight, strict, stickler, not a joking kind of guy. But of course it makes sense. He's voiced by J.K. Simmons, and we all seen what he's done with Omni-Man. Now think of it, I don't think I've ever heard J.K. Simmons voice a young character. and/or a character that was jokey, or kind of like jokey kind of character. Have you? What me triage? I don't know.
Sorry about that. My phone screen locked.
All right, gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, I never seen any character J.K. Simmons played that was not very serious, stern, and strict. We all see what he did with Omni-Man. Now, J. Jonah Jameson. So, I don't know. I just, but yeah, Tenzin's a very, very serious kind of character. And so when, Korra, pops up, it's like, yo, we're gonna do this. He's like, no, I'm not training you. You're not ready to learn airbending. You got to be at peace, and you're too wild. You're too reckless. There's no way you're gonna be able to learn airbending right now. You need to ease your mind. She's like, yeah, no, I'm ready. Try me. And then commences to get fucked up by the damn pillars. Got her ass beat by some wooden pillars.
Now,
did you catch my whole shit about Tenzin in the bedroom?
yes, I did. But my thing with that was, I said it had been funny because I was like, if Tenzin could have had 3-4 wives, I'm just saying, he could have been popping kids out left, right, and sideways. Like, how could you do this to me? Like, honey, I have a duty to my people to repopulate.
Daddy says. Oh, here's the background is. Daddy says I gotta do it. That's bad. But yeah, you could. Yeah, why did you do that? Why didn't you have multiple wives or just pop them out slowly?
Because Nickelodeon can't be plugging me like that.
That's true. They can't have that in the show.
Now let's see. Now Netflix and Max, on the other hand.
I was about to say, yeah, 4 or 5 wives. Each one of them kids would be by a different mother.
Listen, HBO Max made Atlantis real progressive in Young Justice. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yep. Atlantis, yeah, very, very, very free. They were, but no, like, so Tenzin, he gets a bit of a bad rep for being so serious, but as his story progresses, as Korra's story progresses, he lightens up. He lightens up a little bit until fucking Unalaq. Yeah, it was Unalaq, her uncle, ends up tricking her into opening the portals to the spirit world, which ends up pretty much, I wouldn't say throwing the whole world on his head, but it kind of did. Because by doing that, it created an equilibrium. It equalized the world, because with there being a lack of airbenders, it was like, whoa, hold on. No. There's supposed to be airbenders, firebenders, earthbenders, not. And we can't have this. And so it pretty much made hundreds of people throughout the world airbenders. Now, Tenzin is tasked with going around collecting all these airbenders, bringing them back to the temple, and pretty much teaching them how to be airbenders, which includes his older brother Bumi. For those of you who watched Avatar, The Last Airbender, Bumi is the name of Aang's best friend, King Bumi. So they end up naming the oldest son after him. So I definitely see why Mans would be very, very strict. One, having to be forced to repopulate the air nomads. And he an old man. He can't keep popping them out like that after a while. You know what I mean? Be having to, let me not. No, not doing that. We're not going there today, Power. Not going there today. Oh.
Is that Farrakhan? That Power Farrakhan coming out?
Nope. It wasn't. It was not. Nope. It was more so on the means of Katara keeping Aang going.
Oh my God. Oh my God! I've never even seen the memes, but I know where you were going with this.
Yeah, the bloodbending came in handy.
Jesus Christ!
Katara, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. We're good. She said. I said round 3, nigga. Oh no! Yeah, I'm gonna have blood clots for days. I can't do this.
She said, "Don't worry, I'll heal it afterwards."
Oh God. Oh man, but so yeah, no, Tenzin's an old man. After a while, he's gonna need a bloodbender to keep him going. So I guess it was like a big sigh of relief for both him and his wife when it's like, okay, I don't have to work to repopulate us anymore. Yeah, we're all here. Then he proceeds to train them to be fucking savages. Now it really says there's not really much that we can really say on Tenzin without going deeper into Korra's story or even diving into Zahir, because Zahir was one of the people who ended up getting the power to airbend. Now, I really didn't want to switch up this yet, but I kind of feel like, I mean, do you have any more any more knowledge to drop about Tenzin? I hate to leave it off of, man got tired of fucking. I hate to leave it off there.
Well, honestly, off, just without comparison, what would you compare Tenzin's ability to Aang's ability?
As in airbending wise?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like his combat airbending ability was definitely further above his father's. Yeah, so I definitely say his actual combat ability was way better. And the way he uses airbending combined with his fighting. I'd say it was definitely way better on that aspect. But with Aang being a master so young, like here's the thing. And also we also have to look at what it means to be a master of a bending style as well. Are you a master based off your knowledge of airbending? Are you a master based off of your ability to airbend? What makes you a master? You know what I mean? Because we see with Jinora, she gets made a master so young because she was able to free herself so much that she could astral project. And her inept and adept ability to do that. So that's what made her a master. But I'd say, as in experience-wise, she was not a master experience-wise at all. So I guess what makes you a master also has changed with the times. So it's hard. So it's really hard to really scale that, because we don't know at what point Tenzin became a master.
This is true.
We don't know what age he became a master. We don't know what event transpired that Aang was like, all right, kid, you got it. You know what I mean? So that part makes it really difficult to gauge that. But overall, Tenzin was a badass with his airbender and his martial, his hand to hand. That man's hand to hand martial arts was nasty. You never really see Aang go hand to hand unless he has it. Other than that, he solely relied on his ability, his bending. Tenzin, nah, that's what I mean. He was able to really combine his martial art with his bending. Because we see him going toe to toe, bink, 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 hand to hand, do, boom, 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 airbend, boom, boom, airbend, do, back to hand. He was able to go back and forth really, 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 really well. So don't know. I don't know. Where? How about you? What would you say?
So, with going into Zahir real quick, is that one of the reasons why Zahir was a member of the White Lotus, and how Zahir was actually a master martial artist. So he didn't actually study the base form of airbending, which would be Bagua, which would be circle walking. So he basically just used his mixed martial arts in conjunction with the bending of the air. So they said that was one of the key reasons why, technically, by all technical terms, while Zahir knew the culture as far as the style was, he was a novice. And like a master will always be a novice. You know, just because you think you can box doesn't mean you should get in the ring with Tyson.
Exactly. A master is always a true master is someone who is always learning.
Right? So because of that, Tenzin was able to beat him one-on-one. And like you said, because of the style that Zahir used, that's one of the reasons, like, you see why he's more hand-to-hand with him. And it's also one of those things where I think they have to learn it over the course of time, because with everything that's happened to the Air Nation, to the Air Nomads, and the way the world has changed, they had to adapt and evolve.
Yeah, that was probably something that Aang kind of drilled into him when he was younger too. He was like, listen, yeah, airbending is good, but I struggle with just knowing my airbending. So you got to be able to fight. You got to be able to fight, and you have to teach the new generation to fight as well. And now, especially with the White Lotus, and the White Lotus has grown from just it being its 5 members, which were 2 firebenders, an earthbender, 2 waterbenders. I'm sorry, no, that's like 6 members. Because we also had Sokka's father, who was like the warrior, the one man that couldn't bend in the White Lotus and was still a fucking savage.
No, hold on, wait. I don't remember Sokka's father being a member of the White Lotus. I remember Master Piandao, the one who taught Sokka the sword.
Yes, yep. That's what I'm thinking of. Yep,
but that was one of the things. But that was one of the things too. Like, you didn't need to be a master of an element. You just had to be a master in your own right. So like Zahir was a master martial artist, and that's one of the reasons why when they locked him in his prison cell, that they put him in a prison that had nothing to do with an element.
Yep. On the other hand, the other members of the Red Lotus, the other members of the Red Lotus, we had the chick with no arms, the water.
Minhwa.
Yep. As well as the other earthbender as well. Yep. And firebender, the chick with the fucking they never really explained what form of firebending that is.
So the way I see it is you have to look at the elements as that one constantly feeds into the other one. Like, remember how they said with remember how they said with Naruto, how every ninja's energy was based in some kind of an element?
Yeah.
So Sasuke's is technically electricity. That's why he can do the Chidori.
Yep.
Now Naruto's is based in wind. So because of that, every element feeds another element, and then another element cancels another element out. So because technically lightning feeds into wind, when Naruto and Sasuke collided for the last time, Sasuke's Chidori made Naruto's Rasengan bigger, and that's how he wound up losing his arm. So I look at it from a similar principle like that. If all the elements, or if all the sub-elements bend into each other, like, I would look at combustion bending as a mixture of fire bending along an air current.
Yeah. I definitely see that. And same thing with lava bending, fire into earth. Same thing with lightning bending, which would be, what would you say that? What would you say with that one?
Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I would say lightning is fire in the air, because that would have to be combined with the air pressure and.
Yep. Yeah, that makes a shit ton of sense. Scientifically, it makes perfect sense. But that's what causes thunder and lightning. The high pressures being and the air being ionized and shit like that. I'm no scientist, people. I said in the last episode, I am no damn scientist. But that would definitely make sense. And then, well, metal bending makes a ton of sense because of all the earth particulates within metal. And metal being a natural occurring thing. Platinum, on the other hand, is a man-made element, and it's pure as well. So it's purified. There's no there's no impurities, no other materials kind of within it. Got its own thing. So now metal bending makes sense. Wasn't there? So yeah. So earth bending is lava bending, metal bending. Fire bending is lightning and combustion.
Correct.
Blood bending is blood bending and spirit bending. And then what are the subs for air?
Didn't I say it earlier?
The flight?
Yeah, so it would be flight, and then the spirit, the traveling to the spirit world, the spiritual connection.
Yeah, the astral projection. Yeah. Excuse me. All right, cool. Now, diving further into Zahir, what is his backstory? What was it that got him locked up in the first place?
So, Zahir, along with his fellow members of the Red Lotus, actually were originally members of the White Lotus, but they became disillusioned with the war, the world, and everything that was going on, because they felt that what they did was become glorified bodyguards for the Avatar instead of being warriors ushering change throughout the world like what they should have been. So because he felt the Avatar was the key to this problem, he felt that the best way to do that would be to eliminate the Avatar. So thus, him and his group became anarchists, rebelling against the system, trying to more or less burn it down and create a new world of freedom and peace out of the anarchy and ashes of the old one.
Yup. So we have Oblivion Slays from coming to us from Twitch. So Zahir couldn't bloodbend. Zahir, who was locked up, he was a martial artist who ends up becoming an earthbender when Unalaq tricks Korra into opening the spirit portals at each of the poles. Which ends up, the spirit world ends up deciding to equalize the rest of the world by creating more airbenders because they were eradicated. So no, but Korra's uncle can bloodbend. Unalaq, we end up finding out that Unalaq is actually a bloodbender. Bloodbending actually ends up getting banned, ends up getting outlawed, and anyone who's a bloodbender is like, you fucked up. You can't do that.
Yeah, it was banned by Qatar, if I remember me correctly.
Yeah, even though it's fucking hypocrite, but okay. That's. I feel like Qatar's a hypocrite for that. Like, you bloodbended the shit out of people back in the day. So there wouldn't be any one particular bending style that is stronger than the others. They're all kind of equal. It's more so based on the user's ability, like what they can can do with the bending style. Like in Legend of Korra, if you take a look at Bolin was just a regular degular old ass earthbender, but throughout the strife of pretty much that life or death situation, he ends up learning to lava bend in order to save himself, and it was one other person with him.
It was a couple people with him. I believe it was his brother, Tenzin, and I want to say someone else.
Yeah, I think there was one other person with him. So, and Mako, he already knew lightning bending. He knew that he can lightning bend. He was actually a very strong firebender. But he was pretty strong, because he could also fly around using firebending just like Ozai could. So if you look at the Legend of Korra team, you got Korra, of course, she's the Avatar. You got Mako, who's the firebender, Bolin, who was the earthbender, and then for martial arts, I would say the shorty, I forget her name.
Oh, you talking about? Listen, man, I was never a big fan of her character. I didn't get it. I get that there had to be a love interest, and technically, I thought that
it was supposed to be Korra.
Was going to wind up with Mako, and then Mako
won that shit in the end. Kind of pissed me off.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Because all right, I know, cool, love triangle makes sense. You got what's her name? Who likes Mako? Korra likes Mako. Mako likes Korra and Shorty. And so I thought it was just gonna be a fight over who was gonna, be with Mako. Nah, they said nope. Korra and Shorty. Whoa! Not at one point did Korra show any kind of interest in Shorty other than that's homegirl. And the same thing, they had a little arc when they got closer, because Korra didn't really trust her because of who her father was. But all they showed within that arc was them becoming friends, and Korra starting to trust her, began to trust her, and her becoming like a full member of the team, really. They showed no hints whatsoever of them having any kind of love interest between the two. That's what pisses me off. How are you gonna flip the script like that? I mean, again, it's your story. Don't get me wrong. It was mind-blowing, shock and awe factor. But I hate that. As a writer, I'm like, no, Bill.
Howard, can I ask you a very simple question?
Oh boy, here we go.
Have you ever questioned your sexuality?
Never.
Neither have I. Now, there are people who do that. And once again, sometimes it's just as simple as having a connection with that person. Sometimes it's realizing you are that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it's one of those things where, because of the situation and what happened, with her having her conflict with Zahir, and Zahir, quote unquote, breaking her, coming so close to killing her, that put a lot of shit in perspective for her. Now, as an adult, you realize that there are certain conversations, not even as an adult, there are certain conversations you feel that you are more comfortable having with someone of your own gender, someone of your own race. So it might have been one of those things where she went to her just as a woman looking for strength from another woman. And then one thing led to another.
Yeah, I get that, but the fact that they didn't, I feel like they did it too subtly. Well,
there's a 5-year time gap between Zahir and the whole Kavora thing. Don't forget that. Yeah, there's a time gap there. And then don't forget, this is on Nickelodeon. So it's like there are characters that we know in cartoons who have been openly gay or have been queer or curious. Now, we know that in hindsight as adults watching certain cartoons over, but it's one of those things like where they couldn't have probably did that way. I mean, once again, they could have did it.
Cartoon Network did with him.
They could have did it and it been received very well. They could have did it and it been World War VIII. It all depends.
You know what? And that also makes sense with all the shit that that Nickelodeon was going through. They didn't want to try to portray, too many adult situations after the whole Dan Snyder shit.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying. Yeah, man. A lot of shit blew my goddamn mind when I watched that. I was like, yo, I feel like, after watching that, like, I felt bad. Not necessarily of course, I felt bad for the actors, but then I felt bad because I'm like, damn, like I enjoyed watching this shit. Now I just feel dirty. I don't know. I just felt really uncomfortable. And I'm like, damn, like I watched that shit and I enjoyed watching those shows. Oh man, but I guess I get it, and that's also what it was too. I think I forgot about that 5-year time gap.
I'm pretty sure it's a 5 years, a 5-year time gap. And here's another thing too, and this is the thing too, like if you believe in reincarnation, which they do in the Avatar story, because the Avatar's spirit is recycled into another body, I mean, it would explain that the Avatar has been both males and females. So it's like the Avatar being a representation of that type of pride is not that type of it's not very shocking.
True. I get it. Yeah. I also feel like the other thing that bothered me too was like to end the series on that note was like whoa, hold on, that's it? They're just gonna hold hands, walk into the portal together, and then like as they go to kiss, it just like fades and closes. You don't really get to see the kiss. So, like you're like, oh shit, okay, they are actually together. You gotta like assume. I don't know. I it's the Legend of Korra was fucking wild and savage. There were so many things that you look like fucking one of Toph's daughters fucking accidentally, air quotes, blowing short the Russian chick's head up. Why?
Oh please, yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. But again, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense because she was like, shit, she's about to kill my sister. We got our beef, but that's my sister, bitch. Nah. And her goal was just to block the attack. But in turn, it was a mess inside of that metal. There was a mess in there.
She took Please head off. I'll tell you that.
That shit had to be a mess in there. Yeah. There was nothing left inside of that metal.
But that one act of violence allowed Zahir to lose his earthly tether, and then after that, he was truly free. He was no longer bound to the world by earthly desire, and then he achieved his final form and was able to fly. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was at that point. And I remember after that he like stepped back off of the cliff and falls and then floats back up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like there was the entirety of the storyline. It's just the writing was it was good. It was really, really good. Very, very innovative. How do you feel about the rumors of the next avatars being twins? One's Ravan, the other's Vatu.
But once again, that would make perfect sense. And it's like, but my whole thing is like the dark avatar thing has to make sense from the avatar aspect. So what I mean by that is that we already know that the light avatar can bend all four elements. What can the dark avatar do?
Yeah, that is true. Because
if he,
they did Dark Avatar with Unalaq.
But Unalaq was already a waterbender. So it's like if he's a master waterbender, that just means that he has everything within the waterbending and everything that a waterbender can do that's at master level, or at least, or has the base mastery understanding. So okay, that means he can bend water, do ice, all the other mist, all the other fun stuff. He can bend a spirit, and then he can blood bend. But if we're talking about all the other sub things the Avatar can do, and this is another thing too, because like Korra had to learn to metal bend. So it's like, if the Avatar has all the quote unquote sub bases of all the other elements, does that mean that they can do the same? For example, that means that the next Avatar has the potential to lava bend, metal bend, combustion bend.
Oh, well, here's the thing. What if one twin is a bender and the other is a non-bender? And they could run it where, of course, the one kid, it's a whole thing of like, which one of you is going to be the Avatar? Oh, well, it's not you because you're not a bender. Shoot, get out of here. And they just focus on the one child that is a bender, that is the Avatar, which leads the other child to, down the path of darkness, and where he's like, fuck it, my brother, sister, whatever, is the Avatar. I need power too. I need to show them that I'm worthy, because we know Vaatu was trapped within the spirit world tree, and we know that the spirit portals are still open. Well, they were open at the end of Korra. So clearly, we don't know how long it's going to take before they, drop the next chapter.
Well, my whole thing is like, all right. So even if they did it, so it's like this. So here's how it could work. So the next person in the cycle has to be what?
Earth.
An earthbender, right?
Yeah.
So if the next person in the cycle is an earthbender, you can split that right down the middle. So it's like you can have two twins, whether they're male, female, female, male, 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 female, female, whatever the case may be. You can have them both be earthbenders, but like Zuko and Azula, have one be a prodigy, have one not be.
Okay.
And then it would be even crazier to me to have the one that's not the prodigy, the one who's barely able to even mentally do the power, be revealed to be the airbender. It's going to be revealed to be the Avatar.
Ooh, that's a better twist.
And then, so the one with all the promise is like, yo, what the fuck? I can't believe this. I have to play second fiddle to this person now. Completely disgusted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now from there, he goes on his journey. He bends. He starts to master the elements. He gets a bit of a feeling. But say that Avatar stays just at the base elements of what he can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
He might be able to redirect lightning. He might be able to do this or do that, but he's not fully capable of what he should be able to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, say the brother or the sibling has completely mastered the base element. So that's metal bending, that's lava bending, that's seismic sense, that's everything that they could add or think of with the earth, to the point where he could create earthquakes or create sinkholes, or like he could literally destroy a village if he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the other question. It's like, how is that going to fit in with this new world? Because we saw the way they had to write it differently, with it being, these years later with the New Republic. Now, the question is, where where's the world gonna be at? At what point is the world gonna be at? So there could be whole other sub bending that could have been evolved since then.
I agree.
I don't really see. I personally don't see the other shit, that they could possibly do.
But you got to remember once again,
because they also have sand bending. I forgot. Earth also has sand bending as well.
that too. It's like you could have a character who's like Gaara from Naruto.
And water also has mud bending or swamp bending or whatever they call it.
Right? You could have a character that's like Samuel Sullivan from Heroes. Creates an earthquake, destroys a village just to make a point. Could you imagine like him bringing down the Earth Kingdom, like going into like the Earth Kingdom, the palace, and destroying it by snapping his fingers and walking away?
Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't Republic City based within Old Ba Sing Se, so that which would be the Earth Nation, the Earth
right?
Kingdom?
Remember, there's no war in Ba Sing Se. There's no war in Ba Sing Se.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se. You're talking about. Definitely. I just want to give a shout out to Obliviate. We definitely appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Definitely be lurking. We're gonna be going for maybe like another 20, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. I just find it interesting. I would like to know like where they would like to, because their next step, what they're doing is the creators, they went back to Nickelodeon after they got shafted by Netflix because they didn't like the way. So to my understanding of the way it went, they teamed up with Netflix. Netflix said that they're going to do it the exact same way that they were going that they wanted, but in turn Netflix decided to take those those creative liberties. And they didn't like that, so they decided to go back to Nickelodeon, and now they're supposed to be building an entire last time I checked, they're supposed to be starting off with an animated movie that's supposed to jumpstart an entire kind of universe kind of thing. Maybe multiple avatars.
That wouldn't work. That's not.
I wouldn't like it at all. I would not like that.
I can't co-sign that. Like I said, the whole light avatar, dark avatar, that would make sense. And then being like a full-on conflict, but they'd have to do that and make it make sense. And it would also have to be longer than just a season.
Yeah, because Korra was like what, 5 seasons?
4.
Yeah, 4. And Avatar was more than that, because one of the books was split up into 2 parts.
Well, it's also one of those things like where they did reveal that there was supposed to be another season after Aang beat the Fire Lord, because there was supposed to be a whole redemption arc with Azula, and he was supposed to go find Zuko's mom. There's a lot of stuff that's supposed to happen, but all that stuff is canon in the books.
In the graphic novel. Of course, that would have been pretty dope to see animated. Which let's talk about that real quick. I'm to find out that fucking I'm trying to. Oh, let me see if I can get this right. Zuko's mother is Roku's granddaughter.
No. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So so I love how that ends up bringing it full circle at where Zuko ends up being the fire, the Avatar's firebending teacher, because his grandfather is actually was the Avatar. I found that shit so dope, so fucking dope. and quite and kind of fucked up on the other hand, because like not only did Ozai's father leave Roku to die, but then essentially takes his granddaughter, and then Ozai pretty much just takes Roku's granddaughter like essentially as a sex slave. That's all he wanted, really.
Whoa.
That's all he wanted. That's the only reason why he married her.
Whoa.
Yeah. That was the only reason why he married her, because he wanted to have a child with somebody that would pretty much make that child stronger. And then who else would be to find someone that's a part of the previous Avatar's lineage?
Oh my God, I don't.
It clearly wasn't just for sex, of course, but that's the only reason why. You
can't just say that and then just segue into the conversation like you didn't just that shit got dark so quick.
But that was the undertones that I got from that. Was like the only reason why Ozai chose her was because of her lineage.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but wow. Just fucking
It
wow.
was the way. It's not what I said. It's the way I said it. I say it was the way I said it. More so.
He said, He said, this isn't no love relationship. I'm just offering dick and you're taking it. Like that sounded crazy.
And then he cats her out to where I don't even remember where she was. I don't remember from the story like where she was. But yeah, no, that shit was wild. When I'm like, whoa. All right, I love the fact that it brings everything full circle, right? And then but then just the implications of the fact that like he literally only picked her because of her lineage. That shit's wild. That's what I got from that. All right, so let's take one last quick break. Let's hear from our podcast friends, and then we'll get back. And when we come back, we'll be into our final remarks.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
And again, please go check them out. They are amazing. Their podcasts they're funny. They're filled with knowledge. These guys are doing big things for the Blurred Nation out here. Shout out to the Blurred Nation. Shout out to Blurred Station. Shout out to Blurred's Eye View. Shout out to Midnight Comics. Lady Mandalore, Roomful of Blurreds. Oh man, there's so many, so many. Let's see. Next week.
Next week.
where we want to go with for next. Well, I'll be taking a break from Avatar because we have a special guest coming onto the show, Demetrius Holt. He's going to be on the show. We're going to be interviewing Demetrius Holt. This man has so many things going on right now. One, he's an avid cosplayer. His cosplays are amazing. You may have seen him on his Instagram, Hellspawn_cosplay. His stuff is absolutely amazing. His cosplays are awesome. One of his most recent cosplays was a samurai version of the White Ranger, like with Saba and all. It's like straight samurai. Oh my god, it looks so awesome. Him and two other cosplayers got together. One did a samurai version of I'll say feudal Japan style of the Green Ranger, and another she did the Pink Ranger, feudal Japan style. Oh my god, it looks so fucking dope. It looks so awesome. I would love to see that in a show or a movie or something, like on the big screen. He's also a part of Blurred Station, which is a Black owned and operated for us by us streaming service that will be coming to you soon. They just recently signed 3 major players: Michael J. White, his wife Jillian White, and Mr. Nancy himself, Orlando Jones. So he has some big things coming on. So tune in next week, same time, same place. We'll be talking with him, and get in-depth information about like what he has going on. Now, final remarks on airbending, on Aang, Tenzin, Zahir. What are your thoughts on it? What are your final thoughts?
Air is the element of freedom, and if I had to pick an element, it would be the element I'd pick.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I was meaning to ask that earlier. So you'd be an airbender?
Yeah, heartbeat.
Me? It's interesting because my fighting style, my martial arts style has always been earth as it's very grounded, and I've always related it to earthbending. So I feel like at heart, it's weird. I've always been pulled between firebending and earthbending. But I'd say I'd be a firebender. I'd definitely be a firebender just because of my personality and stuff like that. I'll be honest, I'm quick-tempered. I am, I have a very fiery personality. I'm a light, you know what I mean? A lot of people, they relate firebending and the element of fire to destruction, but fire is also a light in the darkness as well. Fire is cleansing, and so I'd say I'm a firebender. So my final remarks on airbending itself was, it would be, I would agree. It's one of the most powerful yet underrated bending styles, because every living creature on the earth breathes air for the most part, aside from water. Even then, you have, you have certain animals in the sea that also breathe air, whales, dolphins, shit like that breathe air. So with air, if you were a truly devious and devilish and villainous person, you literally can wipe out all life on planet Earth by bending air. It is extremely powerful and very underrated, because the true potential of it's never been used to its true potential. Like, we see that a little bit with Zahir, and then the man is like, all right, we're taking over the Earth Kingdom. We gotta kill the queen of Earth, of the Earth Kingdom. Yeah, he literally sucks the air from her lungs, suffocating her.
My son choked her. My son choked a bitch with no hands. You have any idea how useful that is?
No hands. No, man, listen. That's how I'll be feeling about the Force. That's how I'll be feeling about the Force. Like, man, listen. Bill, the Force choke a bitch. No, let me stop. I'm not gonna go there. I'm actually only on my second glass of Teremana. That's why I've been so tame this episode.
Interesting.
I would definitely say these episodes get more fun the more glasses of Teremana I have.
They get more interesting. I'll say that much.
Way more interesting. Shout out to Teremana, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'll be honest, I like you better as a face than a heel, but nah, man, you made some good ass fucking tequila, dude. Please sponsor us. But nah, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. That the airbending is very underrated, even though it literally has potential to be one of the most devastating styles. I mean, like all four styles can be absolutely devastating. Like you said, earthbending, you can literally level villages. Earthbending, firebending, we saw what they did. Waterbending, you can literally flood nations. You could flood nations. I mean, I guess only on the coast, I guess, really. But you can literally flood entire fucking nations being a waterbender. Like each element is highly devastating in its own right, but airbending, it would be so subtle. No one would notice until it's too late. No one would know that, and everyone would just drop. And the world would be yours. Yeah. Fucking wild. And if you truly reach that level of enlightenment, not even being able to touch the ground, no one would be none the wiser that there's somebody thousands of feet up in the air who is just slowly filling the world.
Let go your earthly tether. Enter the void. Empty and become wind. Empty and become wind.
Now, before we head on out, guys, ladies, gentlemen, level sevens, we have officially launched our Fuck Prep Time collection. Our pre-orders went crazy this week. We are extremely happy. Thank you to everyone that hit the pre-order. We will have something special for you guys. We will be contacting you individually. Because we got something special for you. We want to appreciate you guys hitting the pre-order so fast. Day one went crazy. So we will have something special for y'all later on down the line. Especially probably for our next drop, we'll have something special for y'all. But yeah, after Monday, pre-orders are closed. We will be reopening the store later on down the line for you to pick up our Fuck Prep Time sweatshirts, t-shirts, our workout wear. It's gonna be awesome. We have so much other shit planned for you. Oh, I'm so excited. It's gonna be great. This was a dub. This was a success. This was a massive success. I will ultimately say I was nervous about it because it was uncharted territory for us. This is our first time doing something like this. We are learning, we are growing, and for those of you, when you receive your order, let us know if there's anything wrong with it. We will take a look. We will do our best to remedy the situation. Let us know the quality, and again, we're still learning. We're learning. We're growing. Like we said earlier in the show, a true master is forever learning. We are truly learning. I wouldn't proclaim myself as a master. What about you, Tate? What about you?
Oh, I proclaim myself to be a master. That's such a loaded question because I want to say yes, but I have to say no.
Spoken like a true master.
But any final words?
Final words. For me, I would say, I don't know. My final words for this would be, I'm really proud of us, proud of what we've achieved so far within the last 2 years. It's been an amazing ride, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. I say nothing but up, or I always say, I'd say always forward, never back. And to the people, take that to heart. Always forward, never back. You cannot change the past. You can't change the past. You can't control the future, but you can control what you do now, here in the present. That is what determines your future. Do not let the past weigh you down. And I'd say peace is a lie.
Peace is definitely a lie. There's only passion.
There's only passion, and use that passion to fuel your strength. Passion gives you power. Power gives you strength, and through strength,
Gain victory. In victory, your chains are broken.
Absolutely. Just keep pushing forward. Whatever it is that you're doing, keep pushing forward. Always be open to learning new things. That is the mark of a true master. You're always and forever learning, always and forever adapting. And it's your passion that's going to drive you to do the things that you want to do with your life, or whatever it may be. Your passion. Stick to your passion. Don't let anyone douse that fire. Let that fire burn and let it rage. And then I don't know. Only other thing I would be able to say is fuck prep time, niggas.
Remember that nature is constantly changing, like the wind. Be the leaf on the wind. Adapt, improvise, overcome, and fuck prep time.
Flow and form like water. You put it in a glass, it becomes a glass. You put it in a cup, it becomes a cup. Put it in a teapot, it becomes a teapot. Water can flow or water can crash. Be water, my friend. Bruce Lee. Definitely, stay tuned to the Twitch, because we about to go live in a little bit. Me and Triage are about to go live. We're gonna be running some Suicide Squad. I'm finally just now really getting into it, but definitely tune in. We will be live on our Twitch and our Kick and YouTube and Facebook as normal. It's gonna be a really wild ride. We're gonna have a lot of fun. All right. With that, there's been another episode of Super Breakdown. Tune in next week. What element you want to go over next week? Not next week, the week after.
Oh, well, the week after. Let's see. We just did air, so let's do water next.
Let's see water next. All right, bet. And then tune in next week for an interview with Demetrius Holt. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. It's been a while since we did an interview. I really enjoyed doing these interviews. And I know y'all enjoy it because you get to see our faces. I gotta make sure all my shit is charged for this one. Catch y'all next week. Well, actually, I'll catch y'all in a little bit. Peace.
Peace.